All right, the college football playoff rankings came out. The first one, of course, we're going to overreact to this. It's going to be some big talking points on ESPN, and these things are going to get all jumbled up because none of this really matters. It's just fun things for us to talk about to kind of see where the committee's at and what. But we all know the paths for all these teams. We know where the cutoff line here is, where teams have no shot. You could probably just put it right at where LSU doesn't have a shot. Louisville, I don't think has a shot. Basically just outside of 10. You don't 10 and later, you don't really have a shot at making it in there. But one thing that I saw, we have Ohio State 1, Georgia 2, Michigan 3, and Florida State 4. Something stand out to me on that is I don't know how. Like, let's say, well, obviously we know it can't end this way because Michigan and Ohio State, they're not getting 2 in there. But there's no way the Pac-12, you can't leave the Pac-12 out. You got Washington, Oregon knocking on the door right there, but you can't, dude. The Pac-12 has been so damn good this year.
Don't lose 2 games.
We're not going to.
If somebody does, if your champ got 2 losses, though, they ain't getting in, man. That's just the proofs in the pudding.
But one thing I thought, Cricket, I want to get your opinion on this. On ESPN, they were out, just touting and saying, "Oh, it's clear and obvious Ohio State's number 1." And I'm like, bullshit, dude. I'm not saying they don't deserve to be ranked number 1 right now, but I don't think it's clear and obvious. I mean, I guess if you were looking at just this season and just a resume, they've got some better wins. But I mean, Georgia's still the defending back-to-back champ. I mean, that's gotta mean something. What do you think, Cricket?
I don't know why they keep doing this, man. All they do is give these motherfuckers a reason to be motivated, want to go out and whip your ass. They've won 24 in a row, 25, whatever it is, and lost in 3 years. And then here we are going to put them at number 2, just like we did last year. You know who was number 1 of the first playoff rankings last year? My Vols. You know how that worked out? Not so good. So I'm just saying, you piss these guys off. You get them out. This kind of fake news anyway, man. Like, it's never going to – you look at this right now, it's going to look nothing like that when we finally decide the teams that we put in there to play. It just gives these media people something to talk about. I think they get this one wrong every single year. You know who was number 1 in the first ever college football playoff rankings? Dak Prescott's Mississippi State Bulldogs, and they got drubbed the rest of the way. So this shit don't mean anything. I think Ohio State doesn't even make the playoff. I'm going to say it right now. Ohio State number 1 doesn't even get in the playoff.
I don't know how you have Michigan 3 when they haven't even played anyone yet. At least Washington's beating Oregon.
Yeah. Washington got them a test this week, too. I guess you'd call it a test.
USC. Man. Would you agree with me, though? Everyone 1 through 9 has a path to the playoff.
I think 1 through 11.
You think Ole Miss and Penn State still have a chance?
I think they can if they win out. They both only got Ole Miss only got 1 loss too. Yeah, I think if you're a 1-loss major Power 5 conference champion, like especially from the SEC or the Big Ten, if you only got 1 loss right there and you got the conference championship, it's gonna be real hard to keep you out.
Well, Ohio State. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do they play Penn State this week or is that next week?
Ohio State and Penn State have already played. Next week, Michigan comes to town.
Oh, Michigan and Penn State. Okay.
Yeah.
Ohio State plays Michigan next week, so we're going to figure that one out.
No. Penn State plays Michigan next week.
When the Ohio and Michigan play?
They play last game of the year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they always play last game of the year.
Gotcha. All right.
I think Ohio State's probably out, like Cricket said.
That's what I don't see Florida State losing. Like I said, this is the thing. We always put these rankings up here, and obviously Michigan, Ohio State got to play each other. Washington, Oregon have already played each other. You got Texas ranked above Oklahoma, who they beat.
I know, that's embarrassing. That's what Patriot 4-1-6-5 just pointed out. I mean, it's just stupid.
And it's just like, that's what I'm saying. This shit don't matter, man. I can't wait till we get through this year. Not wishing our lives away, but I can't wait till college football season next year when these top 12 teams are the one we're looking at. And everybody's got a shot, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think
the way they put these rankings together, you have to keep in mind they're looking at who has like the best resume so far, I guess. Other than who the eye test is, and most of it will play itself out. But I am surprised. Like, you've got Washington, who has a win over Oregon, who's the team behind them. I do feel like Washington's probably getting tanked a little bit here. They probably should be a little bit higher, but it'll work itself out.
Yeah, it works itself. I think that's probably due to the fact that they've had a couple not so great performances in a row against pretty bad teams in Arizona State and Stanford. That probably has something to do with, like you said, you're undefeated. The thing, Washington, if you win every one of your games and win the Pac-12, they're not keeping you out, bro. You control your own destiny. Win the next game.
I just don't okay, if you're going to clearly they put Ohio State ahead of Georgia because of this year's resume. Well, in that case, Michigan should be at 5, and then it should be Florida State and Washington, or whatever order you want that in.
In that case, Michigan should be at about 35 if we're going off strength of record and things like that.
I'm just saying, Washington's undefeated 8-0, and they have a good win over Oregon.
Yeah, and if you want to go, and I heard Steve Sarkisian give a great take yesterday. He said, we arguably have the best win in college football over at Alabama. When you go to Alabama, you win by 10 points down there. Alabama had won 51 out of the last 52 at home, and he said, I hear about how good the SEC is, but all those teams are going there. Ain't none of them beating them. And I was like, that's true. Sark's right. Sark's right, man. They got the best win in the country. And once again, that'll play itself out too. You're going to have every opportunity. You win out, Sark, you're going to be in. That's all you got to do. Win out, get a rematch with Oklahoma, win that. You'll probably be in the thing. And Ohio State does have the best resume based off the win at Notre Dame, the win over Penn State. So, yeah, they've got wins over 2 top 15 teams right there. So, yeah, they got the best resume, but it'll play itself. It's just kind of fake news, man.
Yeah, Washington and Oregon are on a path to face each other in the Pac-12 championship. So, odds are those two are going to be meeting there, and I would say the winner of that is for sure in. I mean, I don't see how you don't have them in there. Texas and Oklahoma are probably going to play again. Alabama, I do love our Alabama. What did we get them at earlier? Was it 20-1, 20 or more?
23-1.
Yeah, it was something like that. I mean, they've got a shot, dude. I'm not saying it's easy.
What's that? Oh,
they got a big game this week.
They do have a big one. Big one this week. I think they're going to blow the doors off, though. I think they're going to smack LSU. The way they lost that game in Baton Rouge last year in overtime, 2-point conversion, wind up keeping them out of the playoff right there. They're only giving up right at a field goal. I think they're about to smack LSU in the mouth.
Patriot 4-6-5 says, so that means Sooners have the best win according to the idiot Texas coach. Yeah, because if Texas has the best win, Oklahoma beat Texas, we're going to start doing that logic.
It's not the same thing. You're on a neutral site. You didn't go into their stadium where they'd won 51 out of the last 52 games. So it's a different thing. It's a whole different metric.
That just means Oklahoma would roll Alabama.
Yeah, I'm sure that happened.
Mark's in the chat. What up, Mark? Good morning, boys. Committee chair said Washington was ranked lower because of subpar games against Arizona State and Stanford. Oh, I'm sorry. They won those games on the road. Like, who cares how poor you play? You came out with a win on the road. Let's look at the Oregon game, dude. Yeah, let's look at the Oregon game. Granted, I'm not mad at it because Washington has 0 defense. I think Oregon has the best shot of actually. I actually yesterday placed a bet on Oregon to win the national championship at 14-1.
I like it
because I think I think they get there. I think they get to the playoffs, and then from there I can hedge myself out.
Yeah, I like that. I think Oregon's the best of the Pac-12 teams right now. I know Washington's undefeated and has beat them, but just what I've seen overall body of work against similar opponents and things like that, I just think Oregon's the better team.
They have the better defense, and that's what you're going to need if you're going to have a chance to win the title against any of these teams here.
Oh yeah,
in the top rankings. And Oregon, Washington won that one, but Oregon, they make one of those 3 third downs that they gambled on, they win that game. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
they were the better team in that game. They moved the ball better on offense. They played better defense. It was just they had some 4th down shots that they gambled on, and sometimes you don't hit those.
And they didn't on the road. Didn't take that field goal right before halftime that wound up being the difference in the game, and just things like that. You both got Heisman Trophy caliber quarterbacks, but yeah, you're right, Will. The defense is what separates Oregon right there, and I think they do have the more top tier defense.
Dude, I'm gonna be quacking like a duck here soon because I got Oregon to win the championship. I got Bo Nix to win the Heisman at I think over 10-1. I'm just
think about how big we're gonna be partying when it's the Alabama-Oregon national championship game.
Oh God, and Alabama's gonna slap the shit because Oregon shits the bed every single time in the championship game, especially against an SEC team.
Maybe it's time to change the narrative, man. Go Bo. In Bo we trust.